What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update, and quite a lengthy one with a lot of news to get through. Ali Gold has done an article today explaining who we're linked with, who we're targeting in various different positions, as today is the official opening of the transfer window.
Hey.
So happy days. We've already wrapped up 2 signings already, so let's hope some other signings are around the corner. We might have an update for you about that later on in this video. But first up, we're going to talk about Kalidou Koulibaly. Sky Italia saying that according to Sky Sports Italia, Napoli have failed to agree a new contract with Kalidou Koulibaly, so he'll either be sold this summer or leave as a free agent next summer. There was a quote from Antonio Conte back in April 2021 on Koulibaly, and he says, "Koulibaly is one of the top 2 or 3 defenders in the world, and I wanted to bring him to Chelsea. He actually has improved since then." So with Conte seeming to really like Koulibaly as a defender, do you think we do make a move for him?
I hope so, because I think he'd massively upgrade our defence. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's had a fantastic time at Napoli during his time there, and I would much welcome a move for Koulibaly. Depends how much they want. I think it is definitely possible to make a move for him, but like with Chelsea looking for defenders and things like that, obviously nothing's a foregone conclusion. I don't think we're the obvious pick if he has other options, but I definitely think if we move for Koulibaly and we can get him, that would be a real statement signing, I think. And I think he shouldn't be. I mean, for the quality he is, I don't know how expensive he'll be with the year left on his contract. It might probably be worth it.
Yeah,
over there charging.
Yeah,
which is one of free. Yeah,
which is what I was saying in that video that we did a couple of days ago. I mean, I think he's a very attainable target, and I think he should be, #1 target for that central role if we are going to target someone there this summer. So I would absolutely love him through the door. Next up, we're going to talk about a player called Destiny Udoji from Udinese, and Dimarzio was saying last night that Tottenham are interested in Udinese left-back Destiny Udoji. He's played quite a lot of games this season, 35 games, getting 5 goals and 3 assists in Serie A this season. He's got a market value on Transfer Market on about 15.5 million. He's got quite a long time left in his contract where it runs out in 2026. But what do you make out of him? He was out on loan on Hellas Verona this year. He actually didn't play for Udinese, but those stats that I read out were for Hellas Verona.
Yeah, he's a teenager, isn't he? 19 years of age.
Yeah.
I think he scored 5 goals for them.
As I said, 5 goals, 3 assists. Yeah,
pretty good. That seems promising. I don't know if he'd be. Like, if we sign him, I don't know if he'll be how much game time would be. It'd probably have to be another loan deal, I'd assume, if we bring him in now. But it sounds like a very promising prospect, and definitely one. If they've done their scouting and they think this guy has got a very promising future, then I mean he's got some under-21 caps, hasn't he?
He's got 4 under-21 caps. Yeah.
So looks definitely like a prospect who has a big future, but I don't see us signing him and putting him in the first team.
Yeah. Especially as we just signed Perisic, but
and there as well.
If we fail to get a right wing back in and maybe move Perisic over to the right, can he get a bit more game time in that sense?
If we don't sign if we sign him,
yeah. I
mean, potentially, yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like a transfer that Conte would want right now for the first team.
And Giovanni Albanese kind of backs up your claims here, because he says Udoji looks to be staying at Udinese this summer, and therefore it could be one that Spurs do look for in the future.
Yeah,
so that makes more sense, doesn't it?
That makes more sense.
Let's move on. Let's talk about that Lato Martinez once again. Alfredo Padulia was saying last night that Antonio Conte wishes to continue to shop at Inter Milan, and he's now interested in Lato Martinez. But he wishes to stay at the San Siro, and Inter Milan want to keep him. So
yeah,
pretty worthless update that.
Don't think it's as I said. I don't think we're getting Martinez at all. If we can't get Bastoni, we're definitely not going to get Martinez. That's for sure. He's happy there. He just had a contract last year, long-term contract. He's happy there.
Oh, did he? He did sign it.
I'm pretty sure, didn't he?
I thought there were talks, but I never actually remember him.
I think he did sign it.
I mean,
I think he did sign it in the end.
Yeah, you might be right.
So I don't see Martinez moving anytime soon, and not for any money would be prepared to pay anyway.
He signed. Yeah, the last contract he signed was October 2021.
That's last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that was a pretty worthless update, to be honest. Conte's interested in, but the player doesn't want to come, and the club don't want to sell him. So,
yeah, that's it. I don't think we're getting him.
Next up, Harry Kane. Alfredo Padula was saying last night that Bayern Munich are keeping tabs on Harry Kane, although Tottenham have offered him a new contract. Tottenham Hotspur deem Harry Kane as untouchable. But CF Bayern, who's a very reliable source for Bayern Munich news, completely slammed those comments down. He said it is not true that Bayern Munich made any sort of inquiry for Tottenham about Harry Kane. So another worthless update.
Talking about worthless updates. Yeah, look, he ain't going to Bayern Munich. I don't think he'd want to go to Bayern Munich. So there's no chance that move happens. And Bayern as well are not known for spending big money. No, they don't usually do that. No. So how this deal happens is impossible. Even if they wanted him and he wanted to go there, it's still unlikely, even at that point. And then that's not even the case. So no chance.
Sam Dean from The Telegraph was talking about Harry Kane as well. And he says, Harry Kane has spent at least half of this season, of this campaign, playing in a dangerous critical zone, which risks his health and career longevity.
Well, he barely missed a game, didn't he?
He played almost games this season.
Yeah, I think he played the most minutes out of anyone apart from Maurice. So that at 29 years of age, that's not a great situation to be in. You know, that he needs to be able to be rotated to make sure that he has that longevity. And especially like he's playing every Premier League game, and then he's playing the cup games in Europe and all this kind of stuff. You know, even in Conference League he was playing, you know, against Mura and these people. Yeah. So that's the situation that happens when you don't have a backup striker of any quality. And that's the situation we're in. So it's crucial we get someone in who can take the reins off Harry Kane this summer.
Yeah, and further on in the article, he did extend on it to other players as well. And he said that quite a high percentage of the England squad, or a fairly few amount of players in the England squad, were also playing in this kind of critical zone.
And then he played twice 290 minutes for England in the bloody Nations League.
For, you know, in this zone during the season, and doesn't bode well for the World Cup, does it?
I mean, look, the World Cup's still a way, but
you know, they got half a season to play before the World Cup.
I'm assuming if the England players in that stage, I'm assuming most countries' players are in that.
Potentially.
I mean,
England did get to the final.
Yeah, England did get to the final. That's also true. And Italy aren't in the World Cup. It's also true. So there's something that has to be looked at. And I don't think when you have the season ending and then you have 4 Nations League games straight after it, I don't think that helps.
It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. All right, let's move on and let's talk about some potential incomings from Ali Gold now and his article. First one is on Ilyana Zabarani from Dynamo Kiev. And Ali Gold says, Tottenham have been closely watching the highly rated Dynamo Kiev teenager, Ilyana Zabarani, who plays centre-back, and are weighing up a move for him. I know he's like very highly rated. I actually did see him play a couple of times in the Champions League last season. I was impressed. Big, tall, strong centre-back. And on a side note, I did sign him on my FM season, and he turned out to be one of the best centre-backs in the game. So bring him in.
Definitely bring him. 19 caps for Ukraine at 19. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
So clearly there's something about him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's left-footed or not.
Let's have a look.
But maybe that. Well, look, it doesn't have to be left-footed at that age. I don't think you're expecting him to come in and be a number 1 centre-back. So definitely one of the rotational centre-backs. But look, it sounds like he's
right-footed.
Sounds like he's got a massive future ahead of him if he's already starting regularly for his country at 19. So definitely one I'd be excited about if we were to get him in.
Absolutely. Next up, Weston Mckennie. Ali Gold says Paratici is expected to make another approach for Weston Mckennie in the coming weeks or months. We've spoken about him a lot on this channel over the past year or so. He's a player that, me personally, I would love to see through the door. I think maybe if I'm comparing him to maybe a Bissouma or someone, I probably would sway with Bissouma. But if Bissouma's not attainable for whatever reason or not, I would love Mckennie through the door.
Yeah, he's a really good player for Juventus. We've already seen what Juventus players can do in our colours. So for sure, in central midfield, the way he plays, I reckon he could definitely fit in the Premier League. I think he's built for the Premier League. So I think he'd be a great signing. But as you say, I mean, I don't know. I think he's very good on the ball, but I don't know if he's that elite level just yet. But he's still quite young, so he can improve. But I'm a big fan of him. I really like Mckennie. I don't know if that kind of midfielder is our priority, though. But he's good.
Yeah. Next up, Ives Bissouma. Ali Gold says Tottenham have also been looking elsewhere in the Premier League with Brighton midfielder Bissouma, a player the club have been long tracking. Arsenal have been heavily linked with him as well over the last few days. When you compare the kind of Bissouma or Mckennie, do you follow like kind of the way I'm thinking and want Bissouma through the door instead of Mckennie?
Yeah, I think I'd rather Bissouma, and just in terms of his quality, dribbling ability, shooting ability. I think Bissouma's probably a bit better. Although Mckennie probably gets more goals because he gets a few more goal scoring positions. I actually think Bissouma's probably got a bit of a better shot on him. But yeah, Bissouma played in the Premier League, played for Brighton, and knows that system as well that Conte plays. Because Brighton, not the system, but Brighton play three at the back as well, and he plays in centre mid. So I think Bissouma would be a very good signing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Next up, Lucas Paqueta, a new name for you guys, the Lyon centre attacking midfielder. Ali Gold says Spurs have been tracking Lyon's Brazilian international Lucas Paqueta over the last few weeks, and he is a very interesting player. Obviously, he plays predominantly in the number 10 position, but can play central midfield, has played up front as well for Lyon. He's 24 years of age, already had 33 caps for Brazil, scoring 7 goals in that time as well. I think he would be an absolutely brilliant signing. 34 games for Lyon this year, 9 goals, 6 assists. How do you look at Paqueta?
I really like him. I was intrigued that a lot of people was going crazy for Bruno Guimaraes, and obviously understandably so, because he's a high quality player. But I think Lucas Paqueta has also been impressing a lot for Lyon, and I really like the look of him.
Wasn't he at AC Milan at one point?
I think he might be right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
They signed him off AC Milan in 2020 for 18 million.
Yeah, so he must have been 21 at that point or so.
Bloody hell, AC Milan paid 34 million for him.
Yeah. So he's always been very highly thought of, and I think he's doing very well at Lyon. Although we've already been burnt once before by a highly rated Lyon central midfielder, haven't we? So from the French league, so you do have to be careful.
Every year we're linked with one. It was Ndombele, then it was Aouar, and now it's Paqueta.
Yeah, always from Lyon. Maybe because they've lost Bruno and Ndombele, they got big money for both of them. Maybe it lessens their need to sell. I don't know what their situation is, but it hikes the price up on Paqueta.
Some sort of Ndombele Paqueta swap deal.
That'd be good. I wouldn't mind that. But
if they want Ndombele,
yeah, I'd say I don't know if I'll go for it because he hasn't been that great for them.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on, and let's move on to David. By the way, Paqueta's been linked heavily as well to Newcastle, hasn't he?
As well?
I think so, yeah. Even when in January, I think they were linked with him heavily. But next up is Davinson Sanchez. Ali Gold says Sanchez's future will be dictated by the size of any bids that arise for him in the coming months ahead.
Yeah,
do you think, what kind of bid is he talking about, do you reckon? 30 million, something like that?
Yeah, around that ballpark, I think, because if you're looking to sign someone who has the qualities that Sanchez has, there defensively wise, and you're looking probably to pay that amount. So I think you could probably buy a defender who's a bit more suited to how Conte likes to play. But I also think Sanchez has done well when called upon. So it would have to be a fairly decent deal. I don't think it'd have to be the recouping with the 40 million we spent on him, but something around the 25 to 30 mark might be all right.
Next up, Jed Spence, The Guardian, saying that Jed Spence is closing in on a move to Tottenham. Expect it all to be wrapped up in the coming days. So The Guardian are claiming that this Jed Spence deal could be wrapped up very, very soon. Interesting development there.
Exciting, and hopefully we get him. Look, I want Jed Spence. I'm just worried about only signing Jed Spence and relying on him. But if they feel like he could be our number one right wing back, or he could be definitely part of the first team and without any problems, then I'm all for it, because I've definitely been impressed by his performances. I do have a few concerns over it, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it'll be a very good signing for us. And I think from what he's shown, he's got all the qualities to be a very good right wing back. It's just a few question marks I have over having him as our only, I guess experience and age. Yeah, like as in, if he had Premier League experience, I wouldn't be too bothered at his age, but he doesn't, and so then his age will also come into it. Yeah. But I think he's a good player and he's got good qualities, and maybe he could be the answer.
Yeah, let's hope so, because I hope the Guardian's right anyway, because I'd like to see Spence through the door, but I'd still like to see one other. But anyway, the last but not least, we're going to talk about the PFA Team of the Year. And as you can see on your screen, Alisson was in goal, Van Dijk and Rudiger at centre-backs, Cancelo and Alexander-Arnold as the right and left-backs, De Bruyne, Thiago and Bernardo Silva at central midfield, Mane, Salah and Ronaldo up front. After Son got shunned for PFA Player of the Year, he is now being shunned for Team of the Year as well, which is an absolute joke once again. Basically, just look at the video where we called it a disgrace for him to not be called in PFA Player of the Year, not even in for the running, and repeat it right now, because I think it's an absolute disgrace once again from the PFA.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason for it. The only thing I would say is it's not a surprise to me, because the front three were all nominated for Player of the Year. So it's going to stand to reason that they're all going to be in Team of the Year as well. But it's still very frustrating, and Son definitely has not got any of the recognition he deserves for what was an unbelievable season for him, and definitely his best ever Premier League season, and he won the Golden Boot. I mean, there's absolutely no excuse why he wasn't in the team. There's no reason for it. You can even argue he was better than all those front three this season. You know what I mean?
You can argue
it. You can definitely argue that. So how he has been omitted is beggars belief, and it just throws the this award into... I mean, it's absolute nonsense. It's like, what does it mean anymore to win these awards?
The popularity contest. What?
Son's popular as well. I don't understand.
You can only get in there if you win the league. Is it like one of those Ballon d'Or things now? You can only get into it if you win the league or something. If you win a trophy, because I thought it's supposed to be on individual merit, and also it's supposed to be on Premier League as well. So why would trophies come into it if Liverpool didn't win the league? You know what I mean? Yeah,
so it doesn't make sense.
But anyway, that is your Tottenham update for today. You won't be seeing my face for a while now on We Are Tottenham, as I'm getting married this weekend, and then I'm going on my honeymoon. So 3 weeks. I'll see you guys then. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.